Dakota here at Frost tonight to battle with the Jackrabbits of South Dakota State in a game, Jim Thompson, that is very, very important for both concerned.
I know that Gene Zalk felt before this weekend started that this was must-win time, and of course it's almost too simplified to even say it. The Jacks were down with a 3-2 mark. They needed to win. Of course, the University of North Dakota, the team they're playing tonight, was in the race, but especially North Dakota State. The Bison last night came to Frost Arena with a 4-0 record. If the Jacks won tonight but lose last night, then it wouldn't have mattered, because somebody had to beat the Bison, and the Jacks decided, hey, this is the time, we got to knuckle down and do it, and they did just that. They won it by 9 points. Pretty good crowd here last night to appreciate that victory against the Bison, and tonight about that many and more are turned out to hope that the University of North Dakota Fighting Sioux follow that same route as far as the Jackrabbits are concerned, and there's quite a few faithful I see from North Dakota down to help their club inspire to a win also, because now there's about, what, 5 teams in the race, and the Jacks
go right down to the wire again.
Jackrabbits are just a half game out of first place.
And hello to you too. And wherever you may be watching across the great state of South Dakota State win over North Dakota State. Interesting to note that with 3 minutes to go in that game, it was tied 58-58. And really, the Jackrabbits had their backs to the wall, literally, as we talked about, needing a win to stay in the conference race. They outscored the Bison 12-3 over the last 3 minutes of that game to claim the victory. It was a little bit of a different story for the Sioux last night down in the Sioux Falls Arena against Augustana. The Vikings just never got anything going.
You were at that ball game, so you'll be able to talk with some authority about the way this game goes tonight.
Well, I was very impressed with the Sioux last night. They're a very strong physical basketball team, and they've got a lot of people that are very, very capable. We talk about Clausen, Iverson, Bakken, Harris. They are all very strong players. Say hi to everybody, too, there. And as we see the Jackrabbits come back. On the other hand, also, Augustana did not play very good basketball last night. So, again, it shapes up as being a very, very big game. The Sioux and the Jackrabbits right in the thick of the conference race. The Jackrabbits at 4-2. Their losses in the NCC have come to Morningside on the road in a game they felt they could have won easily. And they lost to UNO. They have beaten USD, Augie, North Dakota State, and Northern Colorado. Interestingly enough, North Dakota's only loss came at Morningside, also in a very close game. They have won in the conference over USD, UNO, UNC, and Augustana.
6 of the South Dakota State 8 losses have been under 10 points, Tom, so that is significant in the fact that they have taken some tough losses. Meanwhile, the University of North Dakota, with 4 losses, have lost 3 times by scores of 1, 2, or 3 points. Their only double-digit deficit was at Northern Illinois. They got beat 70-56. Might just mention, we're going to get caught up, I'm sure, in the excitement of this ball game, the large crowd that's on hand, and we may not get a chance to mention it, and since it was last night and we didn't get a chance to broadcast that one, we need to point out that Steve Lingenfelter last night needed just 3 points in order to go over 1,000 points in his career scoring at South Dakota State, and he did that. He scored 17 points. It was not the best night perhaps that he might have had, but 17 points puts him at 1,014 points now that he has scored. It was his 48th game as a Jackrabbit player. Maybe you remember last winter, Jim Walker also went over 1,000, but he took it in 57 games. Nobody else has ever made it in less than 60. So Steve Lingenfelter, King Ling, I guess. I don't know if they still call him that, but he's done a fine job, superior job for the Jackrabbits, and last night reached that 1,000-point plateau.
And he, of course, is going to be a key in this game tonight. He was in foul trouble last night. That has been his biggest bugaboo this season. In fact, since he has joined the Jackrabbits, the only thing that has held Steve Lingenfelter back is foul troubles. Last night he was in trouble against North Dakota State, managed to score 17 points. It's hard to keep him from getting 15 points in a game. I think that's where a team will draw the line, though. If you can hold Lingenfelter to 15 points, you got to feel like you're doing your job.
The 17 last night undoubtedly is going to lower his average, perhaps, but in the Sporting News last week. He was not in there this week, but in last week's issue, he was number 6 in the nation in small college scoring leaders.
Okay, let's meet the Fighting Sioux of North Dakota. First of all, a 6'2" junior and a guard from De La Salle High School in Chicago, Aaron Harris. He will team with Doug Moe, a 6'2" senior from Duluth East. At the forwards, Jim Iverson from North Crawford High School in Soldiers Grove, Wisconsin, 6'4" and a senior. The other forward, 6'7" senior from Fargo, North Bakken in the center. Dan Clausen, leading scorer, leading rebounder for the Sioux, 6'7" and a junior out of Omaha Benson. The Sioux are coached by Dave Gunther, of course, who has won over 200 games in his tenure with the Sioux and has never had a losing season. For the Jackrabbits, they will start at guards tonight. First of all, we're going to have our junior Jack.
Yep.
All right, I like that program. It's got to be the thrill of his life to go out there and give the high five to the Rabbit. Starting at one guard from Hampton, Iowa, a 6-foot sophomore, Phil Jorgensen. At the other guard, John Elwood Brown, 6-foot junior from Hamlin High School. Hails from Bryant. At the forward from Chisholm, Minnesota, 6'5" senior Paul McDonald. At the other forward from Fairmont, Minnesota, at 6'9" and a junior Bob Winzenberg. And the center, the man they call King Ling from Thomas Jefferson High School in Bloomington, Minnesota, Steve Lingenfeller.
That little guy, probably, as you said, the highlight of his life. He was out there starstruck, probably didn't even know where to go from that moment, but that's an exciting time and a good program, the Junior Jack program.
There's Dave Gunther and his assistant.
You told me this is the man that played basketball with Wilt Chamberlain?
Right. He is 43 years old, a native of Lamars, Iowa. 1959, played with the Detroit Pistons. 1962 with the San Francisco Warriors. His finest year in North Dakota, 1976-77, the Sioux were 26-4. Names like Chris Marbach, Mike Dorlick, Fred Lukens, and also a young freshman at that time, Jim Iverson, the only remaining man still with the Sioux. Tip is controlled. Bang around. Clausen finally gets it. They'll give it to Todd Bakken.
Lead in the NCC, or at least a good share of it early in the season.
Here's the high lob pass inside. They want to go to Bakken, but Winzenberg will be there to knock it out of bounds. Now back out front to Aaron Harris, who was superb last night against Doggy. He had 27 points, and he's going for it right now. Partially blocked. Lingenfeller, it still went in. I think he got a finger on it on the way up, and found the perimeter to Jorgensen inside. No, and it lives on good, solid defense. Bakken from atop the free line got it. So Todd Bakken has given the Sioux a 4-0 lead. A minute 40 seconds into the game.
Bakken averaging 13 points a game. Clausen 19.3. He's the leading scorer for the Sioux.
Sioux will play sagging man-to-man against the Jackrabbits. Winzenberg, 22 points. Good. Bob Winzenberg, who can hit him from the weeds, and he can take it in and slam with the best of them. That ball was off the leg of John Brown and went out of bounds.
Brown didn't want to accept that. He went over and talked to the official, not great length.
Here's Harris, top of the key, working on McDonald. Gets in the lane, puts it up, no good. Big board for Lingenfeller. Outlet Brown, they got a man. It's Winzenberg under the basket. Good.
Nice play for Johnny Brown on the assist. He led well, and Winzenberg took advantage of it, went high, and put it down.
Starting out in a man-to-man. Actually, they'll leave Lingenfeller primarily in the middle of the lane. Now they get the ball to Harris. He's in trouble in the lane. We'll give it back out front to Moe. Top of the key. Good. Doug Moe, perhaps the best outside shooter for the Sioux, at 6'2" and a senior. Puts North Dakota on top by a basket at 6'4". Winzenberg, bounce inside. McDonald, back out to Jorgensen. Quick move, can't get a shot up. To Winzenberg. For the Sioux playing tight man-to-man. They'll press that offense out as high as they possibly can. Jorgensen on the dribble, guarded by Moe. Rabbits looking to free somebody. They got Winzenberg.
Nice
he
play.
shoots it up and in. Bob Winzenberg has all 6 of the Rabbit points.
They have is any indication of the rest of the game.
Inbounds Moe. Quickly inside, trying to move Bakken. Can't do it. Back out to Moe. They'll leave him open for just a second. That's all the time he needs. 4 points, Doug Moe. 8-6 to Sioux. Jorgensen on the dribble. Comes up high to Lingenfelder. Lingenfelder and Clausen. What a matchup that is. Jorgensen, great move. Big time. Phil Clausen his first basket. He has moved into the starting spot.
He took that place when Paul McDonald moved to a forward position.
All right, McDonald can play either. Turnaround, Bakken. It will stay. Of course, last night's game a must for the Jackrabbits. Nobody had to knock off the Bison, as we talked about in the pregame. Jacks were the ones that did it. Here's Winzenberg inside. Lingenfelder lost it, got it back, threw it up, no good. And a traveling call is made.
Well, the fans here participate in 10-8 for a minute or so.
Harris looking inside for Clausen. Can't get it to him. Around the perimeter it goes. Now off to Harris. He likes to work his way in. Reed checked it down to play out of bounds. Lingenfelder batted that one up into the fourth row. North Dakota Sioux finished second in the Holiday Basketball Tournament, losing to Augustana. How ironic that has turned out to be. Now it is the Sioux, not the Vikings, battling for the conference lead as Bakken will hit again. He's off to a good start with 6 of the 12 points the Sioux have scored. 12-8, 13-15 to go first half. And the Sioux now in a 2-1-2 with Clausen keeping a special eye on number 5-0. Here's John Brown. Good.
Well, it's tough to stop Johnny Brown from out there. He comes from a good line of outside shooters and has done a super...
Back to Harris, and the Sioux will be patient with it.
They have not had an easy shot. Only one shot actually in the 6-foot perimeter.
Pocket offensive foul. Court in search of a tie. Jorgensen in a high right wing. Deep corner pass, Brown across to Jorgensen, 20-footer, no good. Winzenberg, same motion, got it in. 8 points, Winzenberg off to a good start. 89-53. They demolished Augustana last night.
Augie did not have a good night, obviously.
Well, they certainly did. Iverson hits it.
That's his first scoring of the night.
Iverson, the only remnant left of that 76-77 team they had at North Dakota. He played as a freshman. In fact, started for a while as a freshman, then transferred to Wisconsin-Eau Claire, then came back to North Dakota. Brown, good. Oh, and he gets that shooting eye.
Time.
14-14. Harris, top of the key. Both teams doing their damage from long range, interestingly enough. Here's Bakken rolling, hooks it up, no good, tip good by Clausen.
Nice play, and that's the first scoring for Dan Clausen. Something that Gene Zolk would like to remember. They've lost, as we said, 6 of their 8 games have been in 10 points or fewer.
And Lingenfelder reverse layup is good. The foul is on Bakken. Nice move by Lingenfelder. Realized he was a little bit too far under to shoot it from the side he wanted to. Instead came around.
And in the lane before he gives the ball to Lingenfelder to try to complete that 3-point play.
Lingenfelder's free throw is good. And I imagine they had a hand in his deciding to come to North Dakota to play basketball. McDonald from way outside, good. That was a 3-pointer, folks.
That was a long shot, you bet.
He is calling timeout. With 10 minutes and 3 seconds to go in the first half of play, North Dakota led for about the first 9 minutes of the game. Now it's the Rabbits, 19-16.
10 minutes and now under going in the first half.
We will have a final on the Augustana game. Of course, by the time that you hear this, that game will be long over, but we will have one before the end of this telecast is over. Crucial game down there, Vikings against NDSU.
This could be a night for Augie to be back on.
Moe off a good screen by Sonat. Sonat. Back out to Iverson. Miriam inside. Clausen. Back out Iverson. Shot is no good. And Phil Jorgensen, just about the small span of
basketball game.
Well, he has made a vast amount of improvement since we saw him play as a freshman. There's the lob for Lingenfelder. Good. Nice pass by McDonald.
Well, that was a long pass.
Gives the Jacks a 3-point lead, 21-18. Miriam, top of the key, good.
Rod Merriam's the kind of a guy got a quick release. He's awfully difficult to stop.
Brown across to Jorgensen, inside Lingenfelder, good again. Now Lingenfelder showing a little more movement inside. He's rolling that lane.
That looked like a chest maneuver from Brown to Jorgensen and right on in underneath the Lingenfelder. That was patterned.